This week we're going to highlight the trade estimates for Friday's supply-demand report, which will come out at 11 o'clock Central Time. We're going to look at the price changes associated with that report over the last several years. We're going to focus on the long-term price changes in November soybean futures. We're going to come back and look at harvest progress and weather trends here in the U.S. And then we're going to shift gears and look at planting progress and weather trends in Brazil. Hi, this is Brian Basting with Advanced Trading. Let's talk about the soybean market. There's no doubt the main thing on the minds of soybean traders this week will be Friday's USDA supply and demand report. Remember, this will be the first supply demand report since September. Let's take a look at the trade estimates for this report. Now, we've highlighted production, yield, and ending stocks here. The trade's basically looking for a slightly smaller soybean crop compared to what it was there back in September. The yield coming down from 53.5 to 51 bushels, 53.1 bushels. And the carryout is only forecast to increase 4 million bushels. But look at that range in carryout of soybeans, 187 to 494. That'll be the critical number in this report. What's very important is that you work closely with your trusted risk management advisor to have your marketing positions in place prior to the release of the report on Friday, November 14th at 11 a.m. Central Time. Why is that important? Well, what we've done with this chart here is look at the price change of November soybean futures, basically a price change of January soybean futures on the day that the November supply-demand report is released. Look at those changes, anywhere from a dime to 15 to 20 cents higher, some years even 25 to 30 cents higher or lower. So again, no predictability in price, manage price movement and avoid price prediction. Let's shift gears now and look at the trends in November soybean futures. Now, November futures will expire this week, but we wanted to put that on and provide perspective historically. We're looking at the highest price here at $11.15 for that contract. You have to go all the way back to July of 2024. So we'll shift gears now and next week and start to look at November of 2026 at that point. Let's shift gears now and look at harvest progress here in the U.S. Now, harvest is winding down, mainly double crop bean harvest now as we speak. As of November 9th, bean harvest nationwide was looking at about 90% done. On average, U.S. soybeans harvested increased approximately 6% between November 9th and the 23rd. Of course, the pace of that remaining bean harvest will be directly tied to the weather. Let's take a look at the short-term trends. Our slides this week, as usual, are courtesy of T-Storm Weather. Starting out here looking at some precip mainly across that mid-south and delta area. Not much here further north or in the southeast. Look at the next 2 weeks. It looks like we're going to see normal precip over the next 2 weeks. That means it's going to be wet next week. So this week will be minimal across the Midwest, a little bit in the Delta, but next week will give us that normal precip over the next 2 weeks. What about temperatures? Very warm in the west here this week. The days it's going to be warmest look like they're going to be Friday and Saturday of this week. Let's shift gears now and focus on Brazilian soybean production. Now, Brazil is planting beans now, of course, as we're wrapping up harvest here in the U.S. This map shows the main producing states, north to south, is how planting beans proceeds in Brazil. Now we're looking at soybean progress here at about 57, 58% here as of the first full week in November. The key area that we've highlighted there is Mato Grosso. Mato Grosso is looking at 90% done, and that's a major producing state in Brazil. Why is Mato Grosso so important? Because it is a bit dry there now as we look at the 14-day precip map here. We'll keep an eye on this very closely. The critical time period will be getting into December, and we get into pod set and pod fill. So we don't get too far ahead of ourselves here, but it's something we're watching for you very closely. Now, if you'd like more information, please feel free to contact us at 309-664-2300. We'll put you in contact with our risk management consultants who'll be happy to visit with you at your convenience. And remember, we upload every Wednesday. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to never miss an update. And make sure to join us on Friday, November 14th at 1:30 p.m. for a detailed market analysis of the report. Thanks a lot. Have a good week.